Thanks. Okay, I'm good.
It's time for BGFG.
Gonads are useful for their purpose, but they are no substitute for brains.
All right, here we go.
I have to say, well done. Great. Well done. Well played, my adversary. Well played.
Phoenix isn't gay, but if he was, he'd pick Fremont.
Oh yeah, he'd be living down there with you in the bunker, man. Woo!
Once you go free, you always do the Z.
Like one day I'm not going to Duncan and you could get a controller, a new Xbox, possibly even a cord.
And now, the guys that went on a beer run for 2 years.
Welcome to BGFG episode 508. I'm your host, Chris Phoenix, and joining me, as always, my brother from another mother, Mr. Free Mosey. How are you doing this week, sir?
Oh, the time has come.
Oh, the time has come. The time has come. Put the kids away. Don't put this on the speaker if you're at work or anything, because this
Unless
show's
you work at a specific place, then it might be really funny.
it's probably not going to be really funny. This show is definitely going to be full of hate. There's going to be a lot of swearing, a lot of swearing, because it's the end of an era.
You can get through this without swearing. I'm confident of that.
Well, I'm not. Oh, I'm going to swear.
I know.
The more I get into it. Yeah, so it's going to be a rather lengthy show, so it's definitely something that's going to pique a lot of interest from a lot of different people. Put it that way. So let's get into the news first, and we'll just get all the other stuff out of the way.
BGFG News. You heard it here third.
So first up,
And
this
that's
week's...
it for the news. On to music.
You just want to get to the back half.
Oh yeah.
First up, HR giant Workday gets hacked. So if you haven't heard of Workday, then you probably don't work in a business as big enough to have Workday, because it's everywhere. Hackers gained access through a third-party customer relationship management software. Go figure, a fucking another third party. Morons. Headquartered in California, 19,000 employees they have. They service over 11,000 organizations and more than 60% of Fortune 500 companies. To say Workday's large is an understatement. They handle everything. They issued a statement. They said, and I quote, "There is no indication of access to customers or data within," end quote. Well, what the hell did they hack? What'd they get if they didn't get any of that? Workday is claiming that the information was common business contact information, like names, email addresses, and phone numbers. Are you fucking serious right now? Those are the three things that are like the most value to data mine. Like, this is just dumb. But apparently there's nothing to worry about. You know who else uses Best Buy? Who uses them? Best Buy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know who else? But more on that later. You know who else uses them? Google. Google uses them. Google came out and said the exact same shit Workday did. Basic contact information. Google, you are basic contact information. That's kind of your wheelhouse. That's your job.
Right.
Name, email address, and phone number. It's kind of what you do. They also got hit with a phishing scam from the Salesforce side of things. So again, the breach was Salesforce and Workday, which work together.
And Salesforce is everywhere too.
Correct. They were also breached through the Workday breach. Google really did try to let every user know that there was nothing to worry about. But I don't recall getting that notification or that email. And that it really wasn't anything to worry about. Just change your password soon. That's basically what it was. So again, we show yet again that the compromises are crazy. Like, and most of them are from third parties. What is it going to take to get corporate America to realize that the majority of third parties are fucking stupid?
A class action lawsuit where they are deemed liable instead of being able to pawn it off on third party, and they have to pay out billions of dollars. That's what it'll take.
We said it before on the show. Why not just bring it in house? Bring it in house. It creates jobs. It does what you need to do. You know, I don't get this.
Because the people that are stealing the data are selling it to people
Yeah.
that are using it to purchase ads from Google.
Yeah.
So why would Google stop that?
It's a vicious, vicious circle.
I mean, seriously.
Ugh.
It's like to use the example that my son-in-law gave this week. Why would you use the toothpaste that 9 out of 10 dentists recommend when their job is to fix your teeth?
That's a good point. That's a
I mean,
good
think
point.
about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good point. But this show this week is all about businesses and corporations, you know, and they're all making stupid fucking moves. Look at what Starbucks did. I'm sure glad my 2 kids, 2 out of the 5, don't work at Starbucks anymore because this is the dumbest shit I've heard in a while. Starbucks is taking a page from all the other retailers. So there was a time. Where's my way back sound? There was a time where in all of business and retail that a manager could pick who gets the raises, and the amount was determined on your merit. So if you had a manager of a store and you were there every day, you didn't call out, you know, you stocked the shelves, you did your job well, you know, you handled things, you filled in for other people. When your yearly came out, the boss might call you into the office and say, "Hey, look, Primo, you did a great job, you know, this year,
Yeah, I've never heard that.
and we want to give you it's time for a raise, and we're looking to add in $1 to your hourly," which is, you're like, "Thank you, sir," you know, and you go and you do your thing. Well, that's all changed nowadays. Starbucks will now change that. All salary personnel will start getting a 2% raise every year. My former company, which we'll get into later, was 3%. No haggling. That's your raise, even if you suck. And if you're capped, you don't get a raise. You get a little chunk bonus, which isn't that bad. But the cost of living is usually related to inflation rates, right? Currently, the inflation rate is 2.7%. So if you're getting 2% or even 3%, is it
You're
really
taking
a
a pay
raise?
cut.
But is it even a raise? If your cost of living is rising
Yeah.
by 2.7%, and this year I got a 2% raise or even a 3% raise, am I getting a raise? Am I making any money? No, I'm dumping it back into the car payment. I'm dumping it back into gas. I'm dumping it back into, you know, groceries. I'm dumping it back into rent.
Yeah, it's
It's
just enough to keep you right there where you're at.
correct. You're not getting ahead.
Hopefully, and not just enough to where you're now going, we're gonna have to cut something.
oh, I can't wait till the back half of the show. Then Starbucks turned around and stated that they're trying to turn things around for their company. Better service, shorter wait times, which again, if you've ever been to a Starbucks, good fucking luck with that. Because most of the time, look, most normal. Let me
I've
break it.
gone to Starbucks, but it's to get a drink to take home to the wife.
Right. So
I don't go to Starbucks. I've
So-
never been
so when my kids worked
I-
at Starbucks,
for double espressos in the last 10 years. That's my sum total of Starbucks orders.
when 2 of my kids worked at Starbucks, I went to Starbucks, you know, occasionally to see them, you know, things like that. And that was fine. But like my daughter, God bless
And
her.
I can tell you every quarter that happened because Duncan's stock was like,
Oh yeah. Yeah. But whenever I went in, she would give me whatever the latest concoction was or something. And I'm personally, I didn't think anything was good. Gen Xers are Dunkin' Donuts people, best eating donuts, a basic donut shop that sells coffee. I don't care if it's a mom and pop one. We want to go in and get coffee flavored coffee. Want to get as much into us as possible so we can get to work and do our day. Unlike you little bitches that go to Starbucks most of the time, and you got to get a half calf decaf latte venti, and you can't go to work
With-
without it.
with
You know-
sweet cream foam and extra caramel drizzle.
Yeah, I don't understand any of that. And you paid like $15 for the fucking drink. Like-
And make it blonde because I don't want an actual real roasted coffee flavor.
Yeah, it's brutal. So they're saying better service, shorter wait times, and more inviting stores. Sell regular coffee. That's probably inviting. But then they had the balls to ask salary personnel to help keep the costs down in your shops to help pay for everything. Really? Really? You want the manager of a store to help keep costs down by cutting costs, and that means cutting hours. That means cutting because I can guarantee you that in some sort of quarterly call, there's going to be, hey, this store is doing great and this store is not doing great, and look at how much money this store saved.
Your labor's too high. You're gonna have to reduce
Exactly.
staff, or you're gonna have to reduce hours for your hourly employees, and you got to pick up the slack.
Absolutely. So as usual, the C-suite remains untouched, and the bottom level employees have to pay for it. Yeah, none of
Yep.
these C-suite people are taking any pay cuts, are they? No, they're getting their normal raises, which again, we're gonna fucking get into later. Um, and to wrap up the news this week, according to Fortune magazine, work sucks. And
I absolutely 100% within the last 7 days joined not necessarily this group, but like I'm loosely affiliated with this now, and I told my department head that I was doing it.
really,
Yep.
good for you, man. So according to Fortune magazine, they claim that quiet cracking is now spreading throughout the workplace, and that workers are at their breaking point. I agree 115%. There's lack of career growth. AI is taking your jobs. And I don't mean to sound like some crazy curmudgeon, Gen Xer, like, AI is taking your jobs. No, it's a fact. These companies, and you'll hear that later on in the show, that these companies are choosing AI because you're not paying them anything. And they think this is the catch-all. This is everything that we need it to be. And it's not. You're moving too fast. We've told you this before, and it's breaking shit left and right, but it's taking jobs. If I could take a call center and shut it down completely and ship it off to AI, why not? I'm going to save a shit ton of money. Who cares about the 50 people that are not out of work, that can't find another job because all the other fucking call centers are doing the exact same thing? So
Yeah.
now you have no place to go. You're off working at McDonald's for McMinimum, which in a lot of cases
Call
may be
UPS.
more.
Call UPS and try and talk to someone about a package that was misdelivered or
Oh
hasn't
yeah.
shown up yet, and it
Oh
says
yeah.
it was delivered, whatever. You'll
Yeah.
spend 2 hours in AI menu hell
Oh yeah.
before and that's if you stick it out and you hit
Mhm.
the right combination of
Yeah.
stuff, you might finally get a person. And yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And they're telling you in the Fortune article, you'll see the link in the show notes. The Fortune article says that we can't even speak out because you can't. Because you could be let go just for speaking out.
Yeah.
And they'll fill your spot with AI or simply not fill it at all, which again we're going to get into later. According to a report this year, 54% of employees are unhappy. They lack enthusiasm for work. They're feeling useless and angry. And the lack of productivity is the result. Everyone's run down and burnt out. Management doesn't give a shit. Management doesn't care at all. There's a definitive line now, Free, and I think you'll agree, between, hey, grandkid, hey there, just gonna stare at the camera. Good job.
Well, he can't hear you.
I figured as much.
No, he's
So,
deaf.
what?
I'm messing with you.
Fuck. Awful. So there is a
You wanna say
definitive
hi,
line.
Phoenix?
There we go. There's a hand wave. Gotcha. So there's a definitive line now in all of business between the workers and the management. There is no more middle management, period. It's just management that makes six figures and is basically untouchable, and the people that work under them with shitty raises, shitty outlook. Everything's the drizzling shits at
Yeah.
this point.
And you've got people that don't understand the business setting policy and procedure
Oh,
that they're drafting using Copilot.
oh.
And that's why I told my department head, I said, look, I said, I'm just going to let you know you're going to start hearing some things. Like, what? I said, yeah, for 20 something years, I've operated at this level. for
Yep.
my end users.
Yep.
I said, and I am worn out and tired of fighting to continue to be able to do that because I'm not following policy and procedure, which is
Doesn't even make sense.
asinine procedures and policies. I said, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start following all these policies and procedures, and my end users are going to suffer.
Yep.
And I said, I'm not going to let it get to the point where, we have catastrophic failure. I said, but I'm going to be operating between what I normally do and catastrophic failure, somewhere in that gray area, to appease the powers that be and making sure that I'm following all the policies and procedures to the letter. I said, so get ready. It's coming. That was
Yeah.
last
Water.
that was a week and a half ago. And in
Okay.
that week and a half, I've already had 3 things that went on way longer than they should have.
Yeah.
And 2 of them still aren't resolved. And I've been keeping her in the loop on it. And she's like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, thank you. This is what I've been screaming for years.
Right. There's no hope of advancement. So why should we even try harder? And I get that. And you hear that from younger kids and you hear that from older people. And I've mentored people at my previous job where I was like, look, either you drink the Kool-Aid or you do not. If you do not, come in, punch your clock, do your job, do it correctly, and then leave. If you want to drink the Kool-Aid and you want to move up in the business, then you're going to need to go that extra mile without any pat on the back at all, because it might never come.
Yeah.
And it's a sad state of affairs. And the idea of, because you see it on Reddit all the time, oh, just quit and get another job. Fuck you. It's not that easy. I've been filling out applications for 6 months. Just in the last month,
Well, someone that's giving that advice is still in the entry level or one step above entry level in the workforce.
right, but there's no
Right?
jobs
They're
to
not
have.
they're not somebody they're not somebody that is at a certain level of income that it's not going to hurt you if you miss a paycheck. You might eat a little less Taco Bell this week, but you'll go pick something
Yeah.
else up and be right back on track.
Right.
We're not, we're not at that level. We have other financial obligations that we can't just go, I'm not going to worry about that anymore.
Right. I mean, there's a period between my last job and my new job of a week, and I'm sweating it. Like gotta be concerned about possibly a week or 2 without a paycheck. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but there's no jobs to have out there. The last 2 months or so, I probably put out 70 applications, got 3 callbacks. There's nothing out there. Upper management and the C-suites aren't taking pay cuts, are they? No. Why would they? They're not worried about their jobs because their jobs are almost untouchable. So Fortune talked to an expert.
Or they've got that golden parachute in their contract. So,
Oh yeah.
you know what?
So
If y'all decide to fire me, fine. I've still got my stock options. I've still got this. I've still got that.
Oh, wait till you see what. So Fortune talked to an expert in the matter. You'll see it in the article. They encourage employers to sit down with employees and come up with a strategy. There is no strategy. There's no jobs. There's no upper. There's no moving up. And if I hear one more fucking person, this is why I'm so glad I don't have this previous job anymore. If I hear one more fucking person turn around and come down and say, well, unemployment's down. No, you dipshit. Unemployment's down because the people that were on unemployment can only stay on unemployment for so long. And then they get kicked off. So unemployment's down because those people are now doing whatever they can. I have a guy that I went to high school with that comes by once a week who's barely got an apartment that we pay him to do the grass. I could do the grass myself. It doesn't even matter. But I'll throw him, $40 or so to cut my grass just because I know that $40 is going to pay for his meal that night. It's doing what you can. But management and above are not giving up any of their pay. Companies have a cap on every single position and will not raise that cap or give you any money above that cap anymore. I was told personally at my last job that there is no money for raises and the outlook for a promotion is about 5 to 7 years away. How are you going to keep people in your company? Or is this the plan? Is this the plan to weed out the people? No. Yeah.
It's the plan.
Right. I think I think it's bullshit. So that's all we have for news this week. Let's get into this week's music. That way we can jump into stick style and get to Fremo's favorite part. And the theme for this week's music is going to be Muse, Uprising, because that's pretty much what we need to do at this point is rise up, because this shit is not going to get better. And until people really take a stand and do things.
And you didn't go with Flowbots?
I didn't. I didn't.
If
I'm
that's
sorry.
the theme? Hurting my heart here, Phoenix. Hurting my heart.
That's what I do. My job is to hurt Fremo's heart. Here's Muse Uprising. We'll catch you on the other side for stick style, and then we release hell.
Yeah.
I think the key to that song right there is "Rise Up." 'Cause look,
I just want to know where I can get one of those bears.
the bears from the video.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
the scary looking, like just Chucky like bear. It'll make a
All right.
great gift for
Uh,
somebody's grandkid.
First thing we do is the bear, and I went with the Modelo, of course, because it's going to be that kind of day. Cool Modelo. There we go. Cheers to you. Oh, that is refreshing.
Notice, boys and girls, how Fremo, after opening his, was able to go straight to drinking. Phoenix still hasn't figured out how to open the beer without having to pick at the foil before being able to
There was one
drink.
piece of foil. There was one piece. You're,
It doesn't matter if it was one, two, or the whole lip all the way around. You still had to pick at it.
yeah, okay.
Gaming.
All right. So first up in this week's Stick Style, we lead with Sony again. Look, there's not a lot of Xbox talk right now, really, outside of yeah, there's really not, because we're getting into the time of the year in the fall where games come out and all sorts of other things come out and they're getting ready for the holidays. But
Oh,
Sony,
I mean, do you really have to say anything else about Xbox right now? Gears Reloaded and Helldivers 2.
yep.
And
Yeah,
nobody's got time for anything else right now.
yeah. And if you're, I was going through Doom again, trying to 100% each level. That was fun.
Oof.
But we lead with Sony. What I can only assume is they're just moving in the direction that gets them out of the console market, because they've now released their PlayStation Link, which you'll see the picture in the video and the link in the show notes, that the PC Link or PlayStation Link, they're going to move that to the PC. The PlayStation Link is the wireless connectivity tech that powers the PS5 headsets. Now, and this is not the in-zone. This is the regular PlayStation heads. Do I even have one? Do I have a PlayStation headset? I don't think I do. No, I don't. I had one. Don't know where it is. Probably upstairs. But now you're going to be able to plug this USB dongle into your PC and be able to use the PlayStation headset. The menu gives you adjustment for audio settings. It shows the battery level and tells you if there's a firmware update. So again, kudos to you, Sony, for really giving us a full-featured fucking package. Come on. You couldn't do a little bit more than that? Driver will install
I mean,
automatically.
I'm just happy that it only took them 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. The driver will install automatically when you plug a compatible headset to the PC. And also from Sony this week, there'll be a state of play coming up. Why the do they even still do state of plays? I don't understand why they do that. It's slated for the end of September, possibly. And it's going to mostly revolve around the Wolverine game, which we've only seen a trailer for, and we might get another trailer. So why don't you just put that on your website or splash social media with it instead of creating a whole event around it? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But then again, nothing Sony does makes fucking sense.
I'm looking at the picture here, and he's got a very anime-esque
No, I'm pretty
look
sure
to
that
him.
no, I'm pretty sure the picture you're looking at is for Marvel Rivals. I did see the same picture. I believe that's the picture for Marvel Rivals. The
Okay.
nobody's
Yeah,
nobody
yeah, it is. But
nobody's
still, okay,
seen
so even then,
nobody's
it's got a
seen
very
nobody's seen any gameplay from the new Wolverine game. Like everybody's anticipating it, but there's a lot of stuff on the horizon. Like 2026 is going to be interesting. So you have the Gears of War E-Day. Well, actually,
the
that's
last
to be this year.
Wolverine game I played, a GameFly. That's how long it's been since we've had a good Wolverine game.
Oh wow, yeah, that's some time right there. Gamefly, holy shit, Miss
They're
Gamefly.
still around though, by the way. Did you know that?
No, are they?
Yeah.
Good for them. Good for them. least they didn't go to the way of GameStop. But good for them. Also, in ironic Sony news, we talked about it before. Pre-orders for
Is there any other kind?
Ghosts of Yohei's pre-orders are now available. So the gold PS5 bundles you can almost get anywhere, and then the black console bundle, unfortunately, you can only get from Sony PlayStation Direct. Follow the link in the show notes. They look stunning. All the other pieces, like if you just want plates for your current PlayStation, you can get those at PlayStation Direct, as well as the controllers. So I did, as I've said in the show before, I pre-ordered the game and the collector's edition. I don't know if I'm going to get the plates or the controllers. I'll probably get one of the controllers, but I don't know if I have any interest in the plates, because I have, like I said, down here I have the PlayStation 30th anniversary. In the rec room, I have my black original PlayStation 5, and then upstairs is just a regular PlayStation. So maybe I'll do Ghosts of Yohei up there. But it really depends on the price and how it's going to be. What you're and it's a Sony product. So what are you looking at?
Oh, I haven't been paying attention to what you're saying about Sony. I was looking at GameFly's website.
Man, fuck you.
They 20 something years, right? They've been around. And apparently they did what GameStop should have done.
Ooh, what?
So maybe GameFly listened to us. If you're a GameFly member,
Yeah.
not only can you get the games, keep them as long as you want, whatever package you get, but you can also get consoles, headsets, controllers.
Really?
Like buy them, rent them, try them out,
Really?
send them back. Yes,
Oh,
collectibles.
you gotta remind me. We gotta put that in the show notes for next week. That's something we should talk about right there. Because with games and shit getting to be $80, and control, like, here's a good example. If I want to get a elite controller, I might not like an elite controller, and I might not want to pay for it, but I can rent it, see if I like it, and then buy one or buy that one. So yeah, we're gonna do that in a show next time. Finally, this week in Stick Style is the Gears of War movie, and it's coming. It's going to be here. And so what I did was, the John Wick director, David Leitch, is going to be directing the Gears of War movie, which is going to be on Netflix. But this guy has done a lot of cool movies: Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, Hobbs and Shaw, The Fall Guy. Those are good movies. And one of my favorites right now is Bullet Train. Have you seen Bullet Train, Free?
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I've seen
a
it.
good movie. That is a sit down every time when the wife and I are in the living room and we're flipping through channels and we see Bullet Train. It doesn't matter what else is on. We watch it every time.
Yeah, it's an awesome comedic action movie.
Yes. And
without intending to be funny, there's some parts in there that are hilarious.
And they're so layered. Like it's layered so that at the end of the movie you're like, holy shit. And I think we've said it on the show before. The one thing we will tell people that you should watch it, the water bottle. The water bottle alone will make you go, son bitch. But yeah, so Cliff Bleszinski, who was the originator of Gears of War way back in the day, who we all loved, and then took a weird turn and ended up batshit crazy, from what we can tell. Cliff Bleszinski came out and said that Chris Pratt should not have any role in that movie.
See, but I disagree. I think there's a character that he would be perfect at. And if you think about it for half a second.
Because if you're going where I think you're going, I'm going to disagree with you. But go ahead, say it. Who is it?
Who do you think?
I think you're going to say Baird.
No. And I
Really?
knew that you thought I would say Baird.
Who do you think?
The brother that always dies.
Oh, Carmine.
Exactly.
The Carmine brother. Oh, that would be good. That would be good.
Because he dies all the time in the game.
Series.
Right? Like,
in the series.
Always
there's a brother. There's what, 7 of them?
Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah, but if you don't know
I think he would be great at that.
If you don't know what we're talking about, you can probably
the games.
Well, yeah, go
and
play
then
the
come
games.
back to us
But
and tell us if you agree or disagree.
But you could probably just read the lore and get that. But when you're playing the game and you see the Carmine brother come on the screen, you're like, oh, oh, oh.
Yeah. It's like the
But
red shirt in Star Trek. You know that dude when that dude doesn't matter which guy it is, but when that red shirt goes down to the planet with him, you know he ain't coming back up.
I am going to hang my hat on Dave Bautista playing Marcus Phoenix. I play him in the game now as a character, as a skin, and he wants to play Marcus Phoenix. Like he wants to. They even sent him an outfit
Okay,
to
but
wear.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Nathan Fillion wanted to be what's his name from Uncharted, right?
Yep.
Think he would have been a great fit, but it took him so long to get there that he wasn't relevant, too old for the character, whatever
Yeah.
you want to say.
Yeah.
That's the same that's going to happen with Batista.
I have a picture right now on our video.
I think it'll be a crying shame if they don't cast him as Marcus Phoenix, but
I
get
think so
ready to
too.
cry.
And I have a picture on our feed right now of the three people I think are perfect for their roles. You have The Rock as Cole. You
Mhm.
have stop. The
Nope.
Rock as Cole.
Nope.
Okay. You have Dave Bautista as Marcus Phoenix.
I think Terry Crews would be a way better choice.
Oh yes, that would be. All right, then make Rock Dom.
Nope.
Oh, stop. Okay, let me move on. Marcus Phoenix should be played by Dave Bautista. That's a gimme.
Nope.
Really, Marcus Phoenix not as
Should be played by Chris Phoenix, and we all know it.
oh well. Okay, thank you. Probably not going to go for well though. And then for Baird in the picture we have John Cena. I think with his work on Peacemaker, I think he'd be hilarious as a Baird.
Yeah, now that I can get on board with.
All right, but we're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to wait and see.
I don't see The Rock in any of the roles. I just don't.
Okay. I'm sure that there's plenty of other people that can do it. Terry Crews was a great hit. I can't even believe I didn't think of that. Terry Crews would be perfect.
That's freaking Cole. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That does it for Stick Style. And now we're going to get into, well, for what it's worth, which should be entertaining at the very least. But
Hold on, I gotta get ready for this.
opening up a second one already. Gotcha. All right. Let's.
All right,
let's,
here we go.
All right. All right. I'm going to take a swig of whiskey because this is going to be something. This has literally been a long time coming. And I want to say before we start, this might get heated. This might get me in some trouble. I hope it doesn't. But this is stuff that needs to be said. And not just about this is about a corporate structure. It just so happens that I worked for a corporate structure for the most part. That I can lay people into. I've worked, and we've alluded to it over the years on this show. I've worked for Geek Squad for 12 years. Best Buy's Geek Squad. And now I don't. I have left that company. Oh, Fremo's getting comfortable. Yeah. I've left that company. This is not going to be a hit piece. I know some people that listen to the show that have worked with me in the past are thinking I'm going to call people out and just talk shit. That's not what I want to do. Number one, top of the food chain, don't want to get sued. I don't have any money and I can't afford the lawyers that Best Buy would drop down on me. So I'm not doing that. It's not going to be a hit piece, but it will be showing facts that happen right now in the industry, in the corporate industry that many people might not know, especially people that might shop at Best Buy. Some of the situations and the issues and possibly even the reference to some people, I know that people I've worked with and people that listen to the show are going to recognize. But I'm not going to drop any names. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top, the very tip top of corporate, and work my way down to the store level and then my personal opinions at the end. It's going to take a while, so if you need to get comfortable somewhere, people, you might as well do it. All right.
But
Let's
this is
start-
more, if I hear you correctly, this is more a diatribe against corporate America. You're just speaking from the example that is most familiar to you.
Correct. Yeah, that's very well put. Thank you. That's exactly. Let's start by
Yeah,
calling
the
out.
lawyers gave me that to read.
Oh, good. Uh, let's start. I stopped picking up the phone from the lawyers because I'm like, I got to do something. I can't not say that. Let's start by calling out our CEO, Corey Barry. Holy shit. Here's a person that started as a finance
But you weren't
officer.
mentioning names.
Corey Barry can kiss my ass. You want to sue me? Sue me. I don't care. I'm talking about personal people. I don't. Corey Barry's not going to listen to the show or hear about me or anything else. And God only knows how many other people she gets shit on by. So here's a person that started as a finance officer in this company and somehow made her way up to CEO. She has dismantled and destroyed every department that she has ever involved with, all for the sake of money and shareholders. That's how she got to the CEO position. Of course, your investors love her because they're making them more money. But one of the things
I
you
mean, it
hear,
makes sense that if she was really good on the finance side,
oh, she is. Oh, yeah.
and you've got a company that one, it's a dinosaur. It's been around for a while, right?
Yep.
It's not going to be able. It's not like they can take their business model and transition it into an Amazon, right? Where it's not a big box store anymore.
Mm,
I mean, you can try, but you're going to lose.
oh, they're
You're going to,
trying.
yeah. I mean, you're about 20 years too late to start making that transition.
Correct. Correct.
I mean, I'm sorry, you just are.
One of
Um,
the one of the things you're going to hear
but
in this.
anyway, so you've got a company like that that's looking to make a serious transition into a space it's totally not structured for. How do you keep your stock price up? You bring in a finance person to navigate that. That's basically what you do, right? You bring in a finance person that says, "Well, okay, we're eventually going to be out of this market. We're going to try to transition to this market. How do we keep our stock price where we want it to be? How do we keep paying our quarterly dividends the way we want?" You bring in someone that'll hack and slash and keep you riding, plus or minus whatever percentage is acceptable of that line that they're looking for.
Oh, yeah, she's good at
So,
that. She's good at that.
yeah.
You're going to hear one of the things you're going to hear more and more in this segment is that when you cut employees, the labor still stays the same. You just have less people to do it. And for me, the writing was on the wall during the pandemic. So before Corey Barry, there was Hubert Joly. Under Hubert, you had
Who?
Hubert Joly.
Yeah, so I said who.
Funny. Under him, you had associates that specialized in every department. So if you went to the mobile department, you had people that were specialized in mobile. Now they could be specialized in mobile and TVs or mobile and gaming or
Right, but
a
you had
bunch
your
of other
SMEs.
things. Yeah. You were fully staffed, and Geek Squad was a force to be reckoned with a culture that I've never seen since. Bonuses quarterly and yearly for almost all departments. If you were an employee that did well and sold well, you get a bonus. And that was what kind of you focused on. Hubert stepped down, Barry took over. The pandemic changed so many things. And I will give credit where credit's due. Every single corporation, retail, and business had to deal with the COVID situation. There was a lot of stuff that was unknown. Businesses had to figure shit out. Everyone's home or working from home. You add that
Right.
extra money that the government handed out, and everybody's buying something and having it delivered. As the pandemic wore down, many people had to work or go to school from home. This means that they needed to buy computers, TVs, monitors, peripherals, accessories, do these jobs from home. And Best Buy did very well, like really well during COVID and the year after. The problem here, when in the following earning call, when Corey Barry was asked by investors how they were going to maintain that type of financial gain, instead of saying that it was a fluke with the pandemic and that they shouldn't expect a whole lot for the next 2 years until some people are looking to replace or upgrade their devices, he turned around and said they're going to make some changes and invest in other areas to maintain that financial freedom, I guess you could say. Well, first, and we noticed that there was stuff on the store level going on because now at the end of any fiscal year, we couldn't order any supplies. I mean, we couldn't. We couldn't order pens, paper, no boxes to ship stuff back and forth. We're pulling paper from our printers off the sales floor because there was just nothing. They weren't shipping. Oh, it's back ordered. Oh, it's back ordered. Oh, it's back ordered. Because she's trying to save money anywhere she can.
Yeah.
Right. It even went as there's even one section where you used to have the ability to have you could give when you were checking out, you could give money to like the Dana Farber, or anything like that. That changed so that it was just for Best Buy's tech centers or whatever. There's a handful of these fuckers. Number one. Number two, I've never even seen one. Number three, the numbers that I saw, because again, we'll get into this later, but I had access, a lot more access than some people at my level. And I don't even know if it was, I saw it quickly. I don't know if it was 73,000 a month or 73,000 a year that was invested into this. Who are you teen tech centering? Most of the teens know more than you for tech. What are you teaching them? It's bullshit. It's a write-off. But suddenly, after we can't get any stock or anything, suddenly there's a hiring freeze and a pay freeze where, your promotion's not going through, your raise isn't going through, all that shit. And we're all wondering what the hell was going on. Then we started seeing that people are either quitting, which understandably, I had one guy that worked in the mobile department. He was a specialist for mobile and gaming. He was a huge mobile head. So mobile and gaming was his deal. They're like, no, you have to work out throughout the store now. And he goes, I quit. Like he literally was the coolest thing. He was really weird. Like in some cases, like he would wear fingerless gloves at work all the time. And like, he was a strange guy, but he knew his mobile shit, man. There was never a problem coming from him when it came to reactivating a phone or setting up a phone, selling a phone, transferring. Like he knew his shit. And when they told him he had to work in other parts of the store, he's like, nah, I quit. And literally walked out. Yeah, exactly. A golf clap for him. But then we saw people were getting fired for performance and they're not having their positions replaced. Almost like it was planned. So one day, myself and a couple of coworkers noticed that everyone was on the schedule for like a Monday or a Tuesday or some shit like that. Can't remember exactly what day of the week it was. One by one, I mean, it was everybody. One by one, they were asked to come into the office with just the manager. And they were given severance. They were also asked not to talk to anyone and to walk out of the building directly. Don't stop and do anything. Don't just leave. And some even told me that they were not allowed to say anything to coworkers or put it on social media, or they'll forfeit their severance. And they also had to sign a contract, which I'm assuming was an NDA before they left. Again, I wasn't one of these people, so I'm getting it hearsay from the people that are actually let go. Now, my boss at the time was done with the company for multiple other HR reasons. Which, again, we'll get into later. He was done with the company. So this motherfucker skipped to the office to get his 20 years of severance. And ironically, at the time, he had also just finished up with a 3-year car accident settlement. So he was doing okay. He didn't need to work for a year. He didn't even need to look for work. I mean, he had it kind of out there. But for others, it wasn't so nice. There was a lot of crying. There was a lot of anger. Damn near 30% of employees nationwide were cut. And like I said before, the work never changed, just less people to do it. It was a big adjustment and huge changes for leadership, where we had supervisors for different departments that were experts. Now they're gone. So the assistant manager became the experience manager. The Geek Squad manager was now the service experience supervisor. One sales supervisor for the stores. Understaffed everywhere, like crazy understaffed.
Yeah.
I know personally 3 people that were in the store that I worked at that time that needed to take medical leaves because of stress. Like they were just completely burnt out. I've never seen anything like that before. And now this is a company that is disconnected. How disconnected, you might ask? Let's start with the new e-learnings. So a lot of companies are used to e-learnings where you got to take those. Freeman's already laughing. E-learnings suck. There was a time when Geek Squad, for instance.
Or you can use them to your advantage, and we can talk about that later if you want.
No, say it.
Well, I had to take an e-learning that basically, and this is going to trigger somebody somewhere, and I don't really care.
Oh, this whole
Um,
segment's going to trigger people.
The e-learning was basically how I'm a horrible person because of my unconscious bias,
Yes, you are.
and so I took my e-learning. It was about a 45-minute like thing, basically saying because of who I am genetically, right?
Yeah.
Just because of my genetics,
Yeah.
I'm a horrible person,
Mhm.
and I need to make sure that I correct myself in certain ways. So I got done with the training, printed out the certificate, went into HR, and I was like, I need a mental health day. I've got to go do some serious self-examination. And laughed.
I've had to take e-learnings on our personal forklift, which has a weight limit of 300 pounds. I'm 344 pounds currently. I've lost a lot of weight, but I'm 344 pounds currently. I can't even get on this shit. Why am I taking the e-learning for it? And I get it. It's mandated and you got to take it anyway. But it happens like every 6 months. Then I had an e-learning that I had to take that talked about when you're in the break room. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I click on it and I watch it because that's a requirement. And it's like Sally walked into a break room and the smell from the microwave from Bobby's food upset her, and she said that she didn't like that smell. Bobby was quite hurt because this was his mother's recipe for such and such dish. What? Really?
Yeah.
If I walk into the break room and it fucking stinks, I'm going to say, holy shit, it smells in here. I'm sure your
Yeah.
mother's dish is great. You know what? My mother killed white pizza as an Italian. My mother killed it. I cannot stand the smell of white pizza. I can't to this day. I just hate that smell. So I got to take an e-learning on it because I could get fired for it. The fact that I took the e-learning means that I understood that I can't say that sort of shit. Like, holy shit, grow some balls, people. But there was a time with Geek Squad where they would send you for a week-long training before you even started, which was great. Induction was
It's
phenomenal.
amazing either one of us have managed to hold a job in corporate America as long as we have.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like the time that HR tracked me down and was like, you're overdue for your sexual harassment training. You're supposed to have that completed by the end of last week. Like, what do you want me to do? I've been busy. You're like, well,
Right.
you're gonna have to. And I said, let's just cut to the chase here. Tell me whether we're for or against it, and I'll act accordingly. She did not think that was funny.
No, she did not. No, the induction for Geek Squad was a week long, and it taught you a lot about Geek Squad. Then when you went back, you shadowed somebody. Then you had the onboarding of sales associates that would attach you to somebody's hip for like a week or two until you understood the job and you would take over. Well, Corey Barry broke all that shit. Instead, we're just going to do straight e-learnings, then throw you on the floor. So we have a new hire that has to sit in the AP room for like 3 days, taking just nonstop
Just
e-learnings.
massive, copious amounts of e-learnings that they're brain numb after the first hour.
Oh, it's not even brain dumb. I can't tell you how many of these millennials and shit that are just sitting there scrolling on their phone. They're not paying attention to jack shit at all. Now, granted, and Fremo will attest to this, there is e-learnings that will teach you some shit. I've watched e-learnings and been like, oh, fuck, I didn't know that. I'm going to implement that into my daily. So there's good things that happen. I'm not saying they're all garbage, but I'm saying they would throw these sales associates right onto the floor, like immediately. Like, oh, you took the e-learnings, you must know what the fuck you're doing. No, you don't. You have no idea. Some of these kids have never even worked in sales. They have no idea how to deal with any of that stuff. You know how many people I've heard crying in the bathroom? You know how many people have come up to me personally and be like,
That's a loaded
hey,
question, man. You don't want me to answer that for you.
you know how many people have come up to me and been like, hey, can I hide in the back of Geek Squad in the precinct? I need to calm down. Yeah, absolutely. Come back here. I got you. No problem. And most of the e-learnings are useless. For instance, there was one that talked about advancement in culture. Where the hell is that store? I want to work at that store that's got advancement in culture because most of the stores I've worked at do not. If you're not directly up a manager's ass on the daily, you're not going anywhere in this company. More on that later. But out of 12 years in several stores, I've had literally 2 direct reports that ever wanted to help me get to the next level. 2 out of probably 10. And let me tell you, because we're gonna get into this, and I'll probably say it a couple of times. My last general manager at my store, I've had general managers that were really good. My last general manager at my store and my Geek Squad supervisor, manager, whatever you want to call him. These 2 gentlemen helped me through a very dark time in my life. Very dark. And I can never thank them enough. Ron and Alan. I can never thank them enough. Never throughout life, and I don't want to get weepy, but they did help me through a very dark time in my life. They are the good ones. They are the ones that you should help. And it just, they're stuck in where they are in some ways, one more than the other. But then there's
Well, but
another one of
that's,
the,
I mean, that's the thing, right? They actually had compassion on an employee, probably, you know, I got a little more inside information on this than the general populace would, but, you know, not necessarily ignored some rules, but maybe bent a few rules to, you know,
yeah,
kind of help an
yep,
associate get through some things, you know,
correct,
whatever, da 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 da.
correct.
Well, that came at a personal cost to them because
I
that's
wasn't
going to throw some
there.
numbers off
Yeah,
on a report, you
yep,
know, that
yep,
they're accountable for, et cetera. But they did the right thing because they put the person, people
correct,
before
correct.
the dollar sign at the end of the day.
Yeah, if
So
they
kudos
ever
to those guys.
if they ever called me or texted me for anything, I'm dropping what I'm doing because I owe them. I owe them huge for multiple things in my
But
life.
in their eyes, you don't owe them,
Right, right. They're
right? They did it. They did it
yeah,
because that was the right thing to do,
correct.
and you would help them because that would be the right thing to do.
100% wouldn't even bat an eye. Not even going to think about it. There's another one of these e-learnings that talked about keeping employees safe. That's bullshit too. Okay, so here's how this company works. First, I was told during COVID. I was called during COVID. Remember that we still didn't know what the disease was about. We didn't. We really didn't. So it was like a big question mark. Like, what the fuck is going on? My wife is immune compromised. So is my oldest daughter. So I'm like, I was worried. But we had already been told that when the call came to go back to work, that we would have an option in certain cases. I don't know, like my wife being immune compromised. I get the call. The supervisor that calls me, not even the general manager at the time, and this isn't the same general manager, but the general manager at the time, um, I get the call. The supervisor tells me that the GM of the store said that if I didn't come back, then they would consider it job abandonment. Great. So I went back to work. And when I came home, I'd have to stand in the hallway, get ass out naked. My wife would leave a towel out there. This is before we had our house. She'd leave a towel out there. I'd go from the towel to the bathroom, to shower, so I could be with my family during this crisis. That's not right. The fact that I was going to be accused of job abandonment if I didn't come in, and I'm talking to the supervisor, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know what to say about this." I'm like, "You don't have to say anything. I understand how the GM works. I get that." And again, I'm not an idiot. I understand how big business works. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, this isn't a hit piece. This is a factual stuff that's going on in corporate America right now. As for the safety, I watched a 110-pound warehouse worker try to get a double French door Samsung fridge to the front of the store by herself. And before anybody tries to hit me with that bullshit of, well, they could call for help or they can call the open and honest hotline and complain there. There's nobody else working. There's nobody else working.
Yeah.
She was it. Couldn't be more than 110 pounds soaking wet. And she's going to bring this shit up by herself because there's nobody else there to work. There's days where there'd be one person in the warehouse, one sales associate, and whoever the opener was, and me sitting at Geek Squad. It was ridiculous. I understand, oh, there's nobody coming into the stores. Well, you put all your money into the online sales, and they're here to pick up their shit. Or in the Northeast, when we get really bad snow or ice, and I get a call that says I need to come in even though it's a state emergency and they're recommending that everyone stays off the road. Yet I have to come in. And the person that's making that call is these higher up management territory people that are sitting at their fucking home.
Yeah.
You're sitting at your home, and the guy that works, I worked with a guy that worked 10 minutes away from the store that we were at the time. It took him 25 minutes, 10 minutes normally, it took him 25 minutes to get to the store. Nobody's coming in. In fact, I can tell you for a fact that that day, the handful of people came in, and I literally mean like 5 people throughout the course of the entire day during that snowstorm. One person came in the first like 4 or 5 hours that was there for batteries. That was it. You had people risk their lives on the road to come in to get a battery sale. The fuck is wrong with you corporate people? I guess it doesn't matter because you're sitting at home. But the one that really got me was when we lost our asset and protection department. So these are the people that stop the crime. Usually off-duty police officers will get a part-time work here at the store. They were really good. Nice people, too. After the snap, this was now just a warehouse employee that was told to go up to the front of the store to look at the cameras if they thought that something was stolen after the fact. And check and see if you can track them going outside and get their license plate. I've personally watched people walk out of Best Buy stores carrying PlayStation 5s, Xbox, computers, laptops, cameras, routers. Like, you cannot stop them. If you even try to puppy block them, which is when you just stand in front of them, hey, how you doing? You will get fired. Like, no joke, you will get fired. Hands down, that day. We can't say or do anything except get the cameras, see if we can see a license plate.
Would you
call the
get in
police.
trouble if you helped them get it to their car?
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me even a little. But the real
Oh
kick,
man, that's going to be heavy. You don't need to lift that to the back of the truck by yourself. Let me help you.
yeah. There's videos. You can look at videos. If you think I'm lying, people, go look at the
Oh no,
videos online.
there's tons of them online. Yeah,
Yeah.
not just there, but just stores in general across America.
One guy ran outside, grabbed the TV out of the back of the guy's pickup truck, and came back in. That motherfucker was fired the next day. I know because I looked up his number. He was fired the next day, terminated. You guys are assholes. But the real kick in the balls for me was watching Corey fucking Barry on CNBC. When asked how Best Buy is preventing these flash mobs of theft, she said with a straight face about the yellow shirt asset protection staff at the front of the store. Bitch, you laid them all off 8 months before this whole interview. Like, how are you even saying that with a straight face? That's how disconnected you guys are. How out of touch can you be? Best Buy deals with lawsuits every year like any other retailer. Employment and labor disputes, like fucking flex pay. Flex pay for us was where you work another position during your shift and get paid the differential. So if you're working in the back of Geek Squad, say, you make more than the front. When you work in the front, you don't get a change in flex pay. But if you work on the sales floor, you might get a change in flex pay. If you're if you're a repair agent and you're pulling a shift as a counter agent or being warehouse and pulling a shift as a floor lead, you should be getting paid for that job. That gets conveniently mishandled all the time. All the time. They get lawsuits on consumer protection and deceptive practices. Like, I don't know, adding a credit card to application, a credit card application to a customer without them knowing. Do you have any idea of how many times I've seen that happen? And said person was trying to buy a house, and suddenly they get a credit hit that they didn't know about. You motherfuckers think I didn't see that shit? I saw it happen. I literally watched it. Or, how about this? DoorDash. DoorDash has canceled over 300 Best Buy Plus memberships because some asshole that rang out whoever was there from DoorDash to pick up a product, rang them out for an extra $50, and eventually, how are you going to sell? DoorDash is a company that is literally listed in our, like, if you pull up a phone number, it says DoorDash. Like, that's how it's identified. Somebody keeps selling them Best Buy Plus memberships. And then they see it and they go, well, we're going to return that too. 300 times just recently.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, people. Data breaches and robocalls they're being sued for. That's what you get for selling our information, you greedy fucks. And my favorite is the shareholder and securities litigation. Shareholders suing for being lied about expectations of performance. Right. Because they're selling you bullshit. Like every single earnings call.
Yeah, it's unsustainable. You cannot beyond, I'll be extremely generous here. And we'll go 18 months. You cannot project consistent growth for more than 18 months. It's not possible.
No.
And they're out
even,
there saying we're going to sustain this for the next, 3 years, 5 years, whatever. And it's just
Yeah.
not possible.
And all of corporate America is doing the same thing right now. They all belong to the National Retail Federation, which is why you get all the retailers using the same language, whether it's baseball or football or hockey. Hockey's the latest. Like, hey, we're going to have these guys goaltend behind the sales for and make sure we get those sales. One fucking day ago from this recording, she was on CNBC Squawk Box. And they were asking her a bunch of questions. One of them, she said, we feel confident in our high end. High end of what, Corey? All of our stuff for Magnolia's been discontinued. So all the high-end stereo equipment and shit, KEF speakers, all the high-end shit is gone. Those partners didn't want to have anything to do with us anymore because it wasn't immediate and you weren't making that sale. There were one-offs that were high-end. But we don't have any other high-end products. I think the highest end thing we have really right now off the top of my head is Starlink from Elon, which isn't a bad system, but that's really the high end. Another thing she said was health is still important. The health industry, like the wearables and shit like that. You sold the health department back to the original owner that worked with Best Buy. Like you're so fucking out of touch. Another thing she said was helping people upgrade their technology from the pandemic. You cannot be this stupid. All that shit broke years ago, and they already came in, which is why I said earlier in the show that you should do 2 years. She should have said 2 years from now. Because people are going to come and they're going to buy a $300 computer. That shit's only going to last 2 years. You go buy
get 2, maybe 3 years out of it.
Yeah. You buy an $1,800 computer or up, you're going to get 5-6 years out of it easy. It's just the build quality. So you cannot be this stupid. And then she said, I'm really focused on the customer. You are a joke. Or Uber was about the customer and the employees. You are not in any way. And you've proven it time and time and time again. That
is the trend in corporate America right now. It is your people that are looking at call them, your finance, your accounting people. They're the ones being promoted into positions because yes, can they give you a short-term bump?
Sure. Yep.
That looks good to the shareholders and the investors? Absolutely they can.
Yep.
They can come in, they can look at the books, cut this, cut that, da 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 da. We'll post positive earnings Q3, 4, and 1. And then, we'll see where we're at moving forward. And it looks great. And this person did a wonderful job. And they gave us, 16 months. But at some point, you can't cut anymore. And you can't get performance out of what you have left.
Correct. Which is the burnout that we were talking about earlier in the show. The amount of layoffs that are going on right now is fucking crazy. I truly feel that Corey Barry is running out of options. But don't worry.
Oh, no, you do. You eventually run out of options. I mean, where I'm at right now, we have someone who is our IT director, which the way our corporate structure is, he's the only person above him would be the CIO, right?
Right. Yeah.
But our IT director is a cost accountant for all practical purposes.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
if he thinks he can save 50 cents a service job he's going to go with this other company.
Yeah.
Because, oh, it's time to renew. Oh, we can save X number of dollars if we go with this contract. Yeah, on the upfront cost.
Yeah, but on the back
What's
end,
it costing you? What's it costing you? Yeah, what's it costing you in other ways that you're not looking at?
right, right,
Yes, these people are going to charge you less per service call, but their service call times, instead of it being 24 to 48 hours, is 72 plus. Well, there's downtime, there's labor costs associated with that extra downtime that you didn't look at because it's not under your umbrella.
correct.
It's another department that's going to
Yep.
suffer. But your numbers look better, but over here it got a whole lot worse. But it takes time for all that to trickle up.
Yeah.
And to get exposed, but it's been happening for about 5 years, right? With the whole
Right.
pandemic
And now,
thing.
now everybody's looking at
And
metrics.
yeah, but that's the thing. The metrics
Right.
are getting to a point where you can't hide it anymore.
No, because they at least for us, it was they went from normal metrics to very, very specific metrics. Like instead of the breakout for your metric was 4 different you know, categories, it's now 20.
Yeah.
Like they're micromanaging thing. So let's break down a couple of the signs that she's fucked. So first you had the big snap. Which I got in trouble for. I just want to say that I got in trouble for because we put up a picture in the back of Geek Squad at one of my locations that had Thanos with Corey Barry's head during the snap. But that was 30%. You lost supervisors, like we talked about before. Most that were over cap for pay, and anyone who had a good amount of tenure, they were gone. Gone.
Yeah.
And with them went all of that experience. Then you thought, let's do
Right.
some new software.
But labor cost looks so good for that, that 6 month to a year time frame.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Labor cost looks so good.
Yeah, oh yeah. We can hire 2 part-timers to fill your full-time position, not pay them benefits, give them
Yeah.
minimum for pay, and who cares if they don't know what the hell they're doing? They took an e-learning.
Yeah, but
But-
like I said, it looks good in the short term, but the long-term ramifications, they catch up with you.
Oh yes. Then you thought that the new software, which we'll get into later, was done so you laid off half of that team for the software that you took away Geek Squad in-home and replaced it with third party, who are horrible, not professional in any way. I've had customers come in and they would tell me about how the kid showed up with the TV in a Honda, stoned out of his gourd, dropped the TV off, rang the doorbell, and said, "I'm not connecting this. That's not part of my job." Like all sorts of shit, just constantly. And if you got to talk to the third party supervisor or anything else, they're going to be extremely abrasive and rude to customers and employees. I've had to call these people a couple of times. They don't want to fucking hear it. They don't care about you or anything else. Then you had the layoff of customer phone support, which was huge. They moved all of them overseas. So any store you call for Best Buy, I don't care where you are in the country, you're getting rerouted the overseas people. They're horrible, and they're a true issue. They lie. They have no idea what we do. They have no idea what goes on at the store. They have no way to look and track it anything at all. So they'll tell you, yeah, they have it in the store, your local store. You can go down there. That's not true. You can go into Geek Squad, just walk in, they'll take care of you. No, we work by appointments. Like it's just consistent bullshit, and they don't care because they pay them a fraction of the cost they would pay in-country people. And they are absolutely selling your information. I don't give a fuck what anybody says that contacts us. They're absolutely selling your information. There's no way that an elderly client that called the support number and then the same day or the day later came in to our store because they got an email with a supposed $400 Geek Squad bill. How did they get that information all of a sudden? Well,
Yep.
There's only one way they could possibly get that. And I've tried to follow up and follow the trail and contact both the employee as well as their supervisor. And apparently the tech number that they use is recycled just with who's ever on that day or whoever's in the cubicle that day or whoever's taking that phone call that day. But hey, we boosted India's tech hub by 40%. So that's good. As of today, besides all of those, and this was as of, I would say, yesterday or the day before, all those who have the auto bay phone support, which was basically if you had a car being worked on for stereo or something, and they had a problem with something, a wiring issue or something, you would be able to call their hotline and get that information you need. They're gone too.
Yeah.
So is virtual sales. So if you called up the number and you want to buy something online, they send you a PIN code. That's all gone as well. She got rid of all of them. Guess where all those calls are going now? I even know one person who got snapped with over 20 years experience. Then they got called back with all sorts of promises, including keeping their tenure. Nope. They hired them back for a fraction of money. And then they got an email one day that said, happy 1 year with the company. I've never seen anybody so pissed, and rightfully so. They went from a 20+ year tenure to a 1 year.
Yeah.
Like, that's bullshit. Similar happened to me when I went seasonal one time to work at a job at a school department. My direct report at the time was so pissed off that they accidentally terminated me. So the reason why on my badge, which I'll show you in a little bit, has 1 gold bar instead of 2 is because they don't see the 12 years I was there. They see 6, I think, or something like that right now. After all the layoffs, all of these layoffs, Corey Barry got a $12 million raise. She makes $1.9 million a year. I know that doesn't, the $12 million raise is also stock options and things like that. But she makes $1.9 million a year. Do you really need $1.9 million a year for these C-suite people? You don't. You don't. You don't need to make that kind of money. That's ridiculous money.
I mean, it takes quite a bit of money to maintain 5 or 6 different homes around the world that you get
No
to
shit.
go vacation in.
shit.
So,
While
know,
she lets the
don't
know
be too hard on them.
while she lets the board know that products will have a price increase due to tariffs. Sales are down over the past 3 years. How do you think this will help?
I mean,
If you
getting
raise
fresh
prices.
beluga caviar shipped directly to your door is not cheap.
Here's another sign. The 401k plans. One of the e-learnings I had to take featured all the marketplace directors and shit, all, sitting in the C-suite talking about how you should invest in a 401k. It's great for you and your family and all this shit. The marketplace directors that you never see or know anything about what happens day to day. Yeah, those fucks. I don't even know what the e-learning was about, but it came out of nowhere. And it was all about them telling you how to invest in a 401k, which Best Buy gets financial and tax advantages for you signing up for. But now, because shit's so thin, you can't even take any money out of your 401k. There was a time where, regardless of what business you had or where you were at, you had a 401k and you had a family emergency, a car payment, rent, something. You could take money out of your 401k. Best Buy doesn't allow that anymore. You can't take money
Wow.
out of your 401k. There's obviously something going on. The entire C-suite should be ashamed at Best Buy. Why does the C-suite get to take time off or sabbatical when they get stressed out? But bottom level employees have to apply for an LOA, which takes damn near a month to get paid for, and you're constantly worried about your position being filled. Yes, you'll have a job to come back to, but it might not be the same fucking job. I saw on LinkedIn that one of our corporate shills needed a break, took a sabbatical, went to Europe, and now feels better and can come back to her 6-figure job after 3 months. The fuck is that about? I can only take a couple of weeks off, maybe a month off for a medical leave or anything else, as long as my doctor provides it, but I ought to be chasing that money for weeks before I get paid.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the store level now, right? I said before, not every store is bad. My most recent general manager and my immediate supervisor for Geek Squad, phenomenal people, just phenomenal people. And I can't tell you how many times I heard throughout my career in our micro market area that the store that I just recently left was the place that careers go to die. How the fuck can you say that about another store that you work with? that this is the drizzling shits of the stores. I never had a better time at a store. Out of all the ones I've redone, I've never had a better time than the store I was at recently. It was fun. It was entertaining. We all had a good rapport. We dealt with stuff. We backed each other up. We did other jobs in the store just to make everything work, right? But some stores, you just have bad people in them. I've seen a lot over 12 years. I've seen the company direction change. I've seen racist boomers keep their jobs as general managers of stores. Dead naming people that are LGBT community, not giving a shit about anybody or anything, telling you that, you're pissing on their back. Like but you kept them because you were afraid of the litigation for it. So you kept them, and they were just ruining people's lives. Upper management is more concerned about how they look physically and to their bosses in the metrics on how they're running things. There are even some that when you talk to them, you're saying in your mind, you're nice, but you don't give a fuck about me or what I'm saying and my issues right now. They're career driven. And I get that. You can be career driven. There's a lot of people that are drinking that Kool-Aid that I've seen in my micro market that are obviously on track to be next level. And that's great for you. That's awesome. But just remember what you're doing, because a lot of these people, you can almost see the footprints on the necks that they've stood on to get to that position.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about you. I appreciate that you're career driven though. That's great. But then you get the darker side of things. I've seen entire departments go to the casino, renting one penthouse suite. Then they come back to work and there's usually tension among a couple of them. Lots of guilt. And then you have the garbage people. Wow. I have seen more shitty sales in the past 3 years than I've seen in my entire career. I had a manager once tell me that I wasn't meeting metrics. And I'm like, but I'm running this whole department. They're like, well, you're not making the metrics. And I said, they're like, we're going to put you on a performance review. I'm like, really? Okay. You sure you want to do this? They're like, yep, absolutely. Chris, you have to maintain. You have to maintain the numbers. Okay. I proceeded to go back to my desk. I forwarded every single email to them. All the bullshit that I deal with on a day-to-day, from customers to clients to where's my product. All those emails I forwarded, and then I killed it for the entire month metrics-wise. Just killed it. She couldn't handle it because she's drinking the Kool-Aid and she's not a good person. I witnessed the guy pretty much hold an old man hostage at checkout, sounding like a car salesman. What do I need to do to get you into this tech support plan today? I confronted that person because I was their boss. And I said, that's not right. You shouldn't be doing shit like that. They literally turned to me with a blank face and said, well, we can go talk to the GM because he thinks that my number's on the top of the store right now. So I don't think he's going to have a problem with it. And he wasn't wrong. He was not wrong. Again, not the GM I currently have, but other GMs, general managers of stores. They don't care. They don't give a shit at all as long as their numbers look good.
It's all about making sure that the number that they need to be where it needs to be to get them their money, their bonus, their next step up. Doesn't matter what you're doing to people.
And the bonuses are company based. They're not store based. So the whole company has to do well, which is just, I don't understand why their directive is. I also witnessed salespeople lie, just flat out lie to sell a customer on a credit card or a support plan. Now, the support plan's great for certain situations, but they're not good for grandma who has a Kindle. That's not going to help them. And I would sell those plans legit and often. I can get about 20 or 30 of those plans a month just sitting at Geek Squad. But you got one motherfucker who's out there that's getting like around 100 a month. Nobody's looking into that, are they? Nope, but I did. I did because I had access at one certain point. And most of the surveys that this guy got, most of the people said they felt like they couldn't leave the store with their product unless they were buying this plan or signing up for a credit card. And they would do shady shit all the time. This is the same person. And here's the problem, is that every single store knows about this individual. And they just keep bumping him around certain different areas. As long as he's on the sales floor, it doesn't matter what his title is. Because as long as he makes those sales, and he does conferences, and he goes on trips for the company, and it's like, holy shit, do you realize what he's doing to people? Do you have any idea how that works? He'll say things like, Hey, I can get you 10% off if you just try to sign up for a quick. Oh, my credit shit. Well, just sign up anyway then. It's not going to hurt you. No, it is going to hurt you. It's going to make it impossible to improve your credit
Yeah, it's another
because
hard inquiry.
it's another hard hit. And I'm sure every micro market has a few of them, if not more. And management just looks away. Shit like this is getting so bad that DoorDash, like I said before, has canceled around 300 Best Buy Plus memberships because these fucks just added on. They don't give a shit. They're getting their numbers. And some of these shitty sales tactics are from bad people, but many are because these kids are in fear of their job because of bad leadership and bad management. They're told, hey, you got to do that. I've listened on the walkie at multiple stores where as soon as a guy sells a TV and he doesn't get a credit card and a plan on it, they get questioned. Hey, meet me over in SD, or meet me in the AP office, or meet me over at Magnolia, or what used to be Magnolia, and let me talk to you about that. And they would get browbeat for 20 minutes on how to sell better. How about the idea that Fremo was in the building, wanted to buy a TV, and didn't need any of that shit? Why is that such a problem?
Right?
Best Buy's because Best Buy's
That's how you end up. And this goes back to what we've been saying. In the short term, you might get the numbers you're looking for, but long term, I'm not going to go back.
no.
I'm not going to go back to that store and buy something if I feel like I'm being pressured every time. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to buy it online. I'm going to, pay. I'll pay more to buy it somewhere else because I don't have to deal with the harassment.
Correct. And there
You
is
know.
harassment. There's absolutely harassment going on by salespeople because they have to meet those figures, and they're forced to do it. And there's some people that
You should have seen the face of the guy because we bought a clothes washer back in May.
Yep.
And we bought it at Best Buy, and he's the guy's pushing all this stuff, and I finally said, I'm just kind of standing there waiting to put the card in the machine because she was the one,
Yeah.
let her pick what she wants, color, whatever, blah blah blah. So I'm just sitting here listening to all this for the longest time, and we finally get to the checkout, and he's continuing to push this stuff. I said, you know what? I said, I just asked her. I said, have you given them any money yet? She's like, no. I said, come on, let's go. We'll go somewhere else.
No.
And he was like, whoa, 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 what? I said, look, she said no like 8 times, and you keep. I was like, I don't get it. At what point is no to you? I was like, I don't want to deal with you anymore.
Because we can't deal with that, Free. We can't. We have no choice. They have put so many, and some, and I will say this again, some stores are different from others. Some managers are different from others.
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
myself.
well, he didn't ask again at that point. He was all about, well, let's get the sale done.
Because there's attachments, there's other things. But I can tell you that myself, my direct report, and even the general manager of the last store I was at, as long as you ask and they hear you ask, that suffices them. They're like, okay, maybe we have to work on your sales pitch or something. Or not everybody. Like, they understand that. But I've also been in other stores where, holy shit, will you get browbeat? Like, it's stressful, like really bad.
I mean, I feel sorry for the guy if he got browbeat over that, but after the 8th time of trying to push something and being told no, it's no.
Nope. And I've heard managers and shit go up to that same salesperson and go, "You're doing it wrong. What's wrong with you? You're doing it wrong." And if you don't produce the numbers, they will cut your hours. Oh my God, Best Buy is notorious for cutting hours if you don't produce numbers. Like, these kids have car payments, school payments. Everybody that works there has something they have to pay. That's why they have a fucking job. And you're going to cut
Right.
their hours because they're not doing it to your specifications. Best Buy's partnership with Citibank is so fucking lucrative that they have to force it down your throat. So just any salesperson that's listening to the show, just think of yourself as a Citibank rep, because that's what you are. So let's take it from the top down. General managers of the stores, you got 2 kinds, in my experience. You have the ones that are management, but they realize that they're also human, and so are you. They'll come out of the office. My last manager was like this, the general manager of my store. Shout out to Ron. They'll come out from the office and help you with customers. They'll bring people out. They'll even clean up customer service because the children that they hired can't clean them up after themselves. These are good people. They can be hard when they want to, when you have to meet those numbers because you do have a job to do, but they do it well and in a constructive way.
Yeah.
And the good ones will help you get better. My direct report was always, always there with me if I had any questions. He was teaching me different things that I might not know. He was showing me how to read certain metrics in a certain way. Like, just phenomenal. But then you have the horrible managers, just fucking mean people that are not good at their job and blame everybody else. The manager I spoke about before, that was my temporary manager. I'm sorry. I don't know how you are outside of work. I don't associate with you. But as a manager and as my direct report at the time, you were fucking awful. You had absolutely no idea how Geek Squad ran. And that's one of those issues. And their bosses don't care at all how you run the store as long as you make those numbers. And they turn a blind eye to most things as long as the numbers are there. I've witnessed these managers literally make people cry. Make people fucking cry. Tell employees that if the project that we're working on doesn't show the store in a good light, then they're going to get fired or the GM's going to make it miserable for them. I literally overheard this on the other side of our paper-thin walls. That if you don't produce and it doesn't make the store look good, it's on your ass. That's not fair. They have nothing to do with this. Then these people either head to the bathroom and cry or just leave for the day because it's too much stress. Do you have any idea how many people I've seen end up in therapy in this company? Like legitimate therapy.
Well, there you go. There's a way for Corey to make money.
Oh yeah.
Start a therapy division for the employees,
Wouldn't
right?
surprise me.
Because you can bill insurance like crazy.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. Then you have the assistant manager.
You
of
can
the
make
store.
back some of that money you're spending on benefits by,
Yeah.
billing the insurance.
Then you have the assistant manager of the store, which are now called experience managers. They take on all the shit that GMs don't want to deal with. The bad GMs, I
Holy
should say.
shit, that's a brilliant idea. I may have to look into starting that.
Which reflects back on the good and bad GMs, and they take care of all the day-to-day bullshit. It's a thankless job for sure. And there's some great people in this role. I had one called Sky. She phenomenal at her job. People didn't like her because she called you out on your bullshit, but she was good at her job, and she was more or less had a lot of bad days, but she was more or less a really good person. Because not only do you have to deal with all the business, but they're also the go-between the floor salespeople and the GM. Then you have the SES, which is the sales service experience supervisor, which used to be the Geek Squad manager. You have the sales supervisor, and you have the operations supervisor. These are the smaller roles, which are really the backbone of the store. Everything falls on them, from reports to meetings to numbers to call-outs to being on-site therapist for some people and figuring out how to work around some of the problems, like call-outs. And speaking of call-outs, let me clue you in if you're listening to the show. If you call out, if you're sick, yes, you should. You should absolutely call out because I don't want to get sick from you either. And when I got sick, I called out because I don't want to get my other employees sick. But it is definitely frowned upon. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It is frowned upon for most of the shitty leaders. And they will put a target on your back. The shitty ones will absolutely do that because they had to fill in a blank somewhere that you're not there for. And they had to cover for it. My bosses were never really like that. Never. They were like, look, if you're sick, you're sick. We're going to, and if I came in and I was like, look, I'm not feeling good, man. I'm probably not going to last today. And I'm probably not going to come in tomorrow. They would take steps to fill that position or fill that void for that day. And even if they had call outs, the good ones will sit there and start calling around to people that had short hours and say, hey, you want to come back in or you want to work longer or whatever the case was. And sometimes it just didn't happen. And that's how we were short staffed. But when you're already short staffed, then you have nobody. And then you have the saddest of them all. And this is the shift leads. Wow, what a fucking scam. It's all in the job pitch. Tell that young adult that they can get an extra $1 an hour to be a leader. And it's a first step to get into management. Secretly, it's a way that the company can get something for nothing. You have keys to the building, you have security codes, you deal with putting out and taking the cash drawers, you deal with customer issues all day long, and you make a fraction of what a supervisor makes, but you're doing the same exact job. Now, the good news is that when you leave and you get a supervisor position elsewhere, super beneficial because you've been through the hard times. You've been through the problems. You know how to deal with this. And nobody, as far as I've seen and heard and talked to people, nothing is like Best Buy. Like the shit they put their shift supervisors through is bullshit. Maybe one of the fast food places, their shift supervisors have to deal with the same shit. But in Best Buy, it was the shift supervisor's problem. You deal with it. Not only do you get paid way more, but supervising at another company is going to be a lot easier. So now, let's go to Geek Squad. And before we do the Geek Squad thing, which is my bread and butter, I'm going to finish up my whiskey because this is going to be something. Because I've worked in 12 years at Geek Squad. This is by far the most important part of the store. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. This makes the store money. Plain and simple. So people come into Best Buy, right? And there's looking around. I'm just browsing. I might
do
want
they
to get a
still?
TV. Yeah, not a lot, but they do. I'm just browsing. I want to see the prices on things. I want to see, what's available, which is great. Nobody comes into Geek Squad happy. Nobody. Their shit's broken. Period. They're broken. They're upset. They're going to work the next day. My personal favorite was always the income tax time, where all these people that were doing like side gigs on accounting would come in with their ancient computers that are all dusty and shit and be like, "It's not starting up. I gotta file taxes in 2 days." Well, no shit. You waited till the last minute. Your computer's fucking ancient, and I can't fix bullshit. Okay, I can't fix stupid. But it makes the store money, and it actually accounts for a third. It should, I should say. You should, as a good general manager, you should account for Geek Squad to make you a third of your performance metrics per month.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way we operate. We're selling stuff. And we make the store money. And it's the last place you can go right now in the country for computer services. Yes, there's mom and pops, but at one time, this was the place to go. All of us were geeks. I mean, that's how you got the job. You were a fucking geek, right? Like, how did you start, Fremo, in computers? You had a computer, right? And it broke and you fixed it. Or you wanted to figure out how to fix it or tweak it, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what Geek Squad is about.
I had
Always.
I had I had a computer when most people were still taking typing classes.
Yeah. And we fixed a lot of shit. The front end did all the software, and the back end did the hardware. The harder software problems and the hardware issues. We were building computers. We were replacing components. I'm talking screens on your laptop, batteries on your laptop. Even some, I had a guy that I worked with in another store when I first started. He was deaf. So he was a great guy, Mike. He was so cool. He was deaf, right? But he would say things like, I would come in the back and not thinking, I would be like, "Hey, could you call that customer?" And he'd go, "Yeah." Like he would just make me fucking laugh all the time. Or I'd come in the back and he'd be like, "You have a phone call." I'm like, "How the f do you even answer the phone?" Like, but this motherfucker would solder shit. Like he had that skill set. So if you brought in a laptop that wasn't working, he would resolder shit. If you had a broken power connector, he would just jump into the laptop and resolder where the connection was and replace it. We had a parts store that was working, and you could order, uh, top case, bottom case, bezel, parts for anything that we sold. They were there. You could order it, and in a couple of days you'd have it, and you'd do the replacement right in the store. That all ended. And then there was the culture. So each Geek Squad precinct, and we do call them precincts. I'll get into in a minute. Each precinct had its own character or culture. One of those stores I worked in was superheroes. Another one was Pokemon. Another one that I worked in was D&D. So you'd have all these things, right? So Dooley, we've had Dooley on the show before.
Yeah.
Dooley made this great graphic of all the different texts that worked for us with all superheroes attached to them and what they did. And that was one of my previous bosses, the one I told you that skipped to get his severance. He actually had name tags made with your code name on it instead of your real name, like Boomer or, whatever it was. It was a great place to work. Like the culture was so good. The book that gave you an orientation called the Little Orange Book, laid it all out for you. One of the pages said, if you find a better job, take it. Because Geek Squad even knew exactly what it was. They would take that high school geek, give them some skills and training, and send them off to work in a bigger IT department. That's what the lore of Geek Squad was. And we were geeks, so we knew how to fix your shit because we probably did it to our own computers at one point. And at one point, they were a separate entity of Best Buy completely. Like, you would see these people at Best Buy that, like, they wanted to get in Geek Squad and get that job at Geek Squad because it was like a separate entity. And they were just in Best Buy stores. But the culture, we all wore white shirts and black ties. Everything was Geek Squad branded. Our part of the store was called the precinct. We were called agents. You had deputy of counterintelligence, you had double agents, you had double field marshals, or I'm sorry, deputy field marshals, and the list goes on and on from the very top of Geek Squad in the C-suite all the way down to the level. And we all had the same idea. We had a forum that only we could access that had jokes and tips and how to fix things. I mean, it was a culture and it was awesome. And it taught you a lot of shit. And that changed under a certain CEO. That changed dramatically. And it's sad. And it changed to where you had only counter agents, which is the front. You had advanced repair agents were in the back. And then you had CIA seniors, which were basically what I was. And then I was basically the supervisor of those precincts. And then above that, you'd have the SES, which is Service Experience Supervisor, formerly known as Geek Squad Manager. And then you had the SEM. The SEM is a Service Experience Manager, which is now the general manager, the Geek Squad Manager that manages the entire micro-market Geek Squad. And I can tell you that in any position, and this goes for a lot of different jobs, but I can tell you that at Geek Squad especially, because of my personal experience, you cannot do this job without moving up through the ranks. You just can't. It's almost like military. You can't. You start off as a counter agent. You move to a repair agent. Once you know both of those jobs, then you can become a senior, which is a supervisor, because you can answer everybody's questions. Then from there, you become a Geek Squad manager because you can manage everything that's going on. Now they didn't do that. Now they've moved it to an SEM, the Service Experience Manager, who now sits at the hub store. I've had two of them in the past that literally have no idea what Geek Squad fucking does. The first one was a mobile supervisor at some point who kissed enough ass to get that position, who I used to chop up all the time. They would avoid me. I would change my days off so I would be there when they were there. And I would ask them questions they couldn't answer. I even had the most recent one sit there and do a role play. A fucking role play. I've been doing this job for 12 years. You're going to do a fucking role play with me? I'm at the top every month in the micro market, and you're going to do a role play? And then when I get done with the role play I was doing, the person that was playing the customer, it was another general manager that I've worked with before and was a former Geek Squad manager back in the day. I do the whole thing. I do the scenario. I do the play out. And then they're sitting there and they go, well, that's okay. The other guy turns around and goes, he nailed it. He's like, well, there's a few things we have to really talk about. I'm like, oh my God, you have no idea how this business works. You've never worked a day in Geek Squad. Not one fucking day. And you're going to tell me how to do my job? I am literally, myself and my
I'm
boss.
living under that regime
You
of
are.
idiocy
You
right
are.
now myself.
I know you are. My direct report and myself are the two people in the entire micro market that have the most seniority out of everybody. I've trained a lot of their successful agents. Like, how are you going to tell me how to do my job? I'll take criticism. I'm not saying I can't take criticism. If you see a flaw, let me know and I will correct it because that's my job. I loved my job. I literally loved what I do. I love helping people figure out their technology or answer the questions they can't. Remember those Geek Mobiles that they had after COVID? That was all gone too. The Geek Mobiles turned into trucks. The uniform changed into polos and jeans. But the badge has always been there. The badge, which I have right here. This is the badge. It's a Geek Squad badge. It's a legitimate badge. And you get awarded that after a year and a half. You get awarded that. and it's earned. And the fact that you'll see in the video right now that Corey Barry has a badge on her hip, and that pissed me off so bad because she's dismantled Geek Squad. Like, it's a piece of
That's probably how
pride.
she got it. She probably somebody got fired and they chunked it at her head.
Yeah, probably.
She's
They
like, "Oh,
fired.
souvenir."
They have
Hmm.
dismantled the in-home people. That's all third
Yeah.
party now. They've cut back all of Geek Squad to where I might have one repair agent on. They've taken on Apple. So we do Apple repairs, which is a gigantic shit show to say the least. The goal of the Apple one was a promise during the contract that the Apple people that come in are high-end people that are going to do shopping for high-end products here at the store when they're here waiting for their replacement parts or whatever, their repair. Kudos to you, Apple rep. Kudos to you.
Yeah.
Because you sold them on a bunch of bullshit. Most iPhones are subsidized from the carrier. These people don't have fucking money. When they come in and tell me that they don't have an Apple Care protection plan, and I tell them that the screen replacement is $200 and something, they lose their shit. They're like, "What the fuck am I going to do now? I don't know what you're going to do now. I can tell you that what I can and can't do." I was damn good at my job, and I helped a lot of people, and I got a lot of good feedback from it. And I miss my job already. I loved what I did. Taking that old person that came in that got compromised. We've talked on the show numerous times. Taking the people that come in and helping them figure out, like, hey, look, you didn't get compromised that bad. Here's what you need to do. I'm going to
Saving
fix
all
this
the
for you.
photos off of a computer they didn't think was ever going to boot again.
Yeah. You
All
know,
kinds of good stuff.
right. It was fulfilling. But Corey Barry and the C-suite and the company as a whole is taking a dramatic turn in an entirely different direction. For instance, we did a new piece of software. They released it in November, like a year ago. November. Why the fuck are you releasing a new piece of software in November, right before our high time? Like, that is the dumb shit. And then you let those people go. Half the team was let go. Then you tell us that we have to show the metrics for using that piece of software. Every time we do anything, you come up to the counter and I capture your phone number. That creates a certain amount of time for me, which relates to getting more agents on in the course of that week or the next 6 weeks or so, the trend of getting more hours for that position. You can have more people on at the same time. There is no, I've been doing this for 12 years. I didn't know until 6 months ago that if you scheduled a 30-minute service call and you finished it in 15 minutes on the bench, you didn't get credit for it. Nobody told us that. Nobody let us know that. We just suddenly realized that we didn't have enough time to have 3 agents on. We could only have 1 agent on because we don't have enough hours. How do I get more hours? Well, you got to make the right codes.
That's getting punished for being good at your job is what that is.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a lot of good agents.
Don't know nothing about that.
Yeah. There's a lot of good agents. A lot. They're getting shit on left and right, and there's no place to go. There's no place. You're cutting more and more jobs. Like I said, you just recently let go of the rest of the customer support people. What's next? What is next? Because you let go of all the, I don't know. I'm glad I got out when I did, because I literally don't know. I feel for all the people that I still have, friends and stuff, at these places. Because you started hiring, especially the Geek Squad, you started hiring just shit people. Just shit people. You don't hold anybody accountable anymore. Because you can't afford to.
They've reduced the job to a script. Say this.
Yep.
What is their response? Based on their response, say this or this. And we can't fix it. Sorry.
No, it's just, and there's
Or
garbage
we'll have
people.
to send that off. It'll be, 7 days.
I don't know what the future holds for Best Buy. Like, they turned around and
I
they
do.
Well, again, I've been hearing from people for 12 years that 5 years Best Buy's gone. That's probably not going to happen. It's a nationwide company, and they're going to continuously make money somehow. But I can tell you that the trend that I see, we just launched Marketplace, which is basically third-party people that are able to sell on our website. You added AI because, again, like we've talked about in the show, and I couldn't wait to do this day. You added AI. So the stuff that the salespersons have to use, which, by the way, for those salespeople that are listening, you do not have to use. There's nothing SOP that says you have to use your personal phone for their bullshit. Tell them that you need a Zebra to use to do their shit. You don't have to put software on your phone, your personal phone, if you don't want to. I don't give a fuck what any manager says. They can fuck off.
Yeah. That's the same thing I tell everybody when they come to me and they're like, "Hey, I want to be on." No, you don't. Why not? Well, for that to work correctly, you have to also put on Intune, and you have to put on multi-factor
Ping
authenticator,
ID,
and
Ping ID.
you know, all these things. I said, and every last one of those things gives the company full access to your phone.
Correct.
And they're like,
Correct.
"What do you mean full access?" I can, if you put that on your phone, and I get mad at you, I can wipe your phone remotely.
I mean, that's extreme. I don't know if that's going to actually happen, but it's a possibility.
Oh
It's
no,
an
I
absolute
could,
possibility. Yeah, you could.
but I just go ahead and give them that extreme, because
Right.
then once they realize that their phone could be compromised, and they could literally lose everything with getting it back, because now your cloud storage has been shifted to company cloud. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you got no backup left anymore. Yeah, I would not recommend it. Now people still do it, ease of convenience, whatever, but
There is a lot of
I
shitty.
recommend against it.
There's a lot of shitty leadership out there, especially in Best Buy. I can't speak on Walmart or Target or any other big box. I can only speak on the fact that
It's
they're all on the same playbook. They're all the
they
same
they
playbook.
they are because they all get together, and you know,
They're all part of that federation, and they're all doing the same fucking thing, and they all say the same shit. While
yeah.
Corey Barry and the rest of the C-suite make a shit ton of money,
It's
you
so funny because if you have to sit in any corporate meetings of any kind, even if it's just your team with your supervisor, and you'll start hearing your supervisor use some buzzwords. All
oh,
you got to do, all you got to do is ask somebody that works at another company, completely unrelated industry, "Hey, um, have you been have you heard this,
pivot.
synergy, or, whatever the latest
Yeah,
buzzword is?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, they've been using." There's a reason for that. It's just it's no different than, it's literally no different than media, right?
yeah.
The news outlets in this country.
Now
They're all controlled by a group up here, and the language that they push out gets filtered down to everybody. It's the same thing with big business, right? Big
yep,
corporations.
yep.
There's a cabal that has all the
Yeah,
money, and they're like, this is the initiative that you're going to put,
yeah,
and and here's the and then they send your people or your upper management people to these training seminars and these training classes, and they're all the same crap, and they're all learning it from the same people, and then they go back and they implement it in their, and it filters down, and we're all eventually hearing the same stuff.
Now to close out the show this week, as we are going long, which is good. Um, I just want to say, closing out the show on a personal level. I had 12 years in the business. I will go ahead and say that I was damn good at my job, damn good, and I touched a lot of people, and not in the Fremo way. I touched them like emotionally.
Oh, oh, so you actually scarred people. You didn't mentor them.
No, I mentored a lot of people. I trained a lot of people, but more importantly, the client base that I had came back repeatedly to see me and my team. I train them well. They know their job. They do well. They succeed. Um, there is just in any other retail space, big box store, there is shitty people that keep getting promoted. I have personally never seen anything in the multiple places that I've been at. I've never seen a company that promotes shitty behavior more. Um, some of the shittiest people are just, I mean, nepotism. the nepotism strike alone, like if you kiss ass enough, you can get your kids hired, and then your kids suddenly get supervisor position. Like, how does that even fucking possible? Like, you're not even
Yeah.
good at your job. You think you are, but you're not. People came back to me. People have reached out to me since I left because of the person that I was. And I'm telling people right now that are listening to the show that still work for Best Buy, don't change who you are. Do not.
Yeah.
Be the same person that you are.
That's the thing. You can only go so far in corporate America as a truly honest person, as somebody that operates with integrity. You can only go so far in corporate America. Period. I don't care which company it is. Uh, it's not possible for a genuinely good person to make it into the upper levels unless you're running your. Now, if you're running your own company, that's a different story. But in big corporate America, truly honest, integrity-driven people are few and far between. They're out there, but very few of them.
Again, on a personal level, I tried because I love my job and love what I do. I tried. I spoke with my wife numerous times about getting, that brass ring and reaching for it, whether in the company or outside the company. During a dark time, I was offered certain positions and I refused those. Again, it was a dark time in my life and I fixed that. And when I started back up and I drank the Kool-Aid and I did everything they said, I literally had my, what they call an SEM, the Geek Squad manager, just laugh at me. Like, laugh at me. Like, they would say things like, well, you need to promote yourself and get up higher. Okay, how about if I become a shift lead? Besides Geek Squad, I'll take on a secondary role as a shift. Oh, well, I don't think that's a good idea. You're not going to make any financial gains for it. I don't really. And then when I offered them, right before I decided I was finally going to leave, like finally going to leave, I sat down with that person and I gave them options that I could do for the micro market, things I could do for them. And they literally chuckled right in my face. That's not going to happen. I mean, we can't even do A, B, and C for you. We can't do this. Well, you can create that. That's what the whole idea of the micro market is: creating new things. No. We listen to corporate only, and we do what corporate says. No, you don't. You fucking liar. I've
Yeah.
literally watched you take Geek Squad agents and put them on the floor if they don't have anything to do, instead of letting them do the Geek Squad jobs because you wanted them to spearhead or goaltend sales. I literally had one person that came to our store during a certain tax free that I made a recommendation to him as a leader. I turned around and I said, "Hey, look, when you set up an Apple appointment for us, make sure that they know their Apple ID and password." And the dude's just looking at me and looking at my name tag, looking at me, looking at my name tag. I left to go handle another client. They turned around to my repair agent and said, "Who the fuck is that guy?" And they were like, "That's Papa. That's what he does."
He knows.
Yeah. And they were like, and the other person was like, "Is he a supervisor?" They're like, "No, not anymore." They're like, "Well, is he a manager?" They're like, "No." "Well, what the fuck am I listening to him for?" And my repair agent goes, "Good."
Yeah.
And he didn't. He's like, "Fuck that guy." And he walked out. Now, granted, he is kissing ass of the Geek Squad manager currently that handles 5 stores. So he can do no wrong, which is great. But you're also making shitty ass sales. I overheard one of your sales. So I walk back down the floor and this motherfucker turns to one of my other repair agents who's on the sales floor that day and goes, "Look at this fat fuck coming down here." And my repair agent's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, what's this guy gonna do? He's gonna give us more bullshit?" And he's like, "I don't know about that." He's like, "You should probably listen to him." And this kid didn't want to hear it because why? Because he's in that drinking the Kool-Aid aspect where our manager probably told him, the Geek Squad manager probably told him, "Hey, you're gonna make it really far in this place. When you're not doing something, Geek Squad, go out in the sales floor." That's not our role. Our role is to help clients that walk in, help clients that customer service has to walk in all the fucking time, and deal with certain stuff, whether it's checking out other things that were returned or jumping into the back and trying to do some repairs. Like it's a business. Now, granted, there
Yeah.
is times where we're dead as fuck. I'm all about going out to the places, the sections that I know very well and helping a customer. I have no problem in that. But if I have shit to do, I have shit to do. And that came up one of the times in the review. Well, you told people that you don't need to do that. Well, no, that's not what I said. What I said was if we have Geek Squad things to do, then I can't be pulled out on the sales floor. We have a business to run. But they don't want to hear that. And then I got a chance to talk to the district manager or the micro market manager. Nice guy. Very nice guy. I had no problems with him. But the entire time I'm talking to him, he's got this whole business rapport, like Freemo was talking about before, this language, this culture thing that they do in a corporate level. That's just complete bullshit. And at one point he said to me, he's like, well, you should have reached out farther. If this is what you want to do, you got to look at places like Maine or Virginia and I'm looking at him. I said, well, I really don't feel like I need to upheave my 5 kids and my wife with her career to move to another state to get $2 more an hour. That's not, well, then it's on you then. It's on you that you didn't want to do that. I'm like, holy fuck. I am taking my 12 years of experience, giving you an option to have me be the senior supervisor for the entire micro market to fix all the little gaps and the little problems that you have in all of these different precincts. And you don't want me to do that? I didn't even ask for anything. I said, give me my old pay when I was an official supervisor. Give me my own pay. And what people might not know is that I rebuilt a precinct. My, at the time, manager constantly got hurt or had issues. He was out for like 8 to 10 months at any clip. And I ran the entire thing without getting the pay. And I was happy to do it. I loved what I did. And the general manager of the store at the time gave me all the credentials and all the access I needed, which is how I found out a lot of the stuff. And I did my job damn well. So well that I said I could fix the store that's 15 minutes from my house on the way to my normal store. They said no.
Right.
They said, nope, we don't want you to do that. I said, really? And I let my ego get in the way. I applied for the job, took the demotion, took the pay cut, and the store that I went to, which is the store that I left, I managed to pull them out of the hole in 3 months. Myself and my direct report, my manager, my service experience supervisor, we both made that shit successful. So I've proven myself time and time again. And you're not gonna take my advice. You're not gonna take my skill set and use it. You'd rather let me go. And the fact that
you didn't use the right buzzwords, Phoenix.
but the fact that he sat there and giggled at me, like I was an idiot. Who the fuck do you think you are? Really?
See, and that's
No,
when I would have
hold on.
I
Let me
would have
rant
tendered
for a
my
second.
involuntary resignation for pummeling someone in the parking lot.
That was the moment. And I've been threatened at Geek Squad before by customers and shit. And I never put that out there or any of that shit. But the fact that you giggled at me when I offered up my experience and my time, the fact that you giggled at me, you fuck. Seriously, you have absolutely zero idea how my department works. None at all. Now, I'm the first one to say that if you take a management position, it's managing people. You don't necessarily know the business. You can learn the business. I truly feel that Geek Squad is not one of those places. You need to know each level of that business. In anything IT, you need to know each level of that business.
First of all, you need to have some technical knowledge, period, to understand what's even being done.
Right, and you don't. You have no idea. So much so, and it goes from corporate all the way down. Like, for instance, if I sold you a tech support plan for $180, I will take all the components. I'll either sell you all the components for your computer build, or I will take your computer build and I will do it for that $180. I will do everything. Everything will be warranted for an extra 2 years, all of that shit. Best Buy took that away. They took that fucking away. And now they charge you $150, $250, or $350 to build a computer, and it has nothing to do with our service plan. So once we build that computer, if you come back with a problem, you're going to pay an additional $180. It's the biggest bullshit. And then when I turn around and I look at our manager of the entire micro market and I say, I'm willing to help you for not a lot of money. I was just making my old money, which was you already have in the books. And you said no, and you giggled at me? You have fucking no idea. If somebody put you in a precinct for a day because everybody called out, you could not do the fucking job. You couldn't. You couldn't do it if your fucking life depended on it. And your predecessor was the exact same way. Your predecessor was the exact same thing. Your predecessor is now the general manager of a store in another micro market. Because it's who you know and whose ass you kiss in that company.
Yeah.
And corporate, anything from territory above, doesn't give a fuck what you do. I have watched managers, I don't want to say who, but I've watched people that I respect in that company try to do that leg up, like they said, like go to somebody else, get mentored from somebody higher than you or somebody that's more knowledgeable than you. He called that person, and they're like, I have no idea what you do at the store level. I can try to help you with numbers and how to understand certain numbers, but I have no idea what you guys do there. Right, because you fucks are all disconnected. You have no idea what the fuck we do. You have no idea. Uber Jolly knew what we did, knew how to make employees want to be there. He knew how to make customers want to come into the store. Lori Barry did marketplace, like what Amazon does with their third market people. She's trying to do the same thing. And then to add it all, she added AI, which broke everything that we use. Everything that we use in the store is broken. You can't find SKUs anymore. The thing constantly crashes. When you search for shit, when you're working with a customer, Fremo comes in, wants to buy a TV. I search for the TV that he asked for. It comes in with third party first instead of our store first. You can't find shit. AI is fucking broken. You have broken the entire system, but that's okay. Because the people that came in to buy this 50-pack, they used an AI bot to find the 50-pack of Pokemon cards, is now selling it on our website as a third party. And then the third party names are like geek kids, geek people. Like you're not, you don't even fucking care anymore, which is why I had to get out of the company. I loved what I did. I loved the people I worked for. I loved the people that I worked with. I do. I loved it. Every day was a pleasure to go to work, whether it was working an hour away or 45 minutes away or the 50-minute drive I had most recently. It was a pleasure to do that. It was a pleasure to see my regulars that came in, mostly elderly, that came for a learning course that would sit down with me for half an hour. But again, because of Corey Barry, I had to fucking figure out how I had to open up this ticket and leave it open for 30 minutes exactly, or else I never got credit for it. It's a shit place that's going downhill fast. I don't know where she's going to cut more money from. I watch all these people that are making money, both in the store that I was at, as well as other stores that I worked at, that are absolutely shit employees. Garbage. Either they're drinking the Kool-Aid because they want to become management, or they are not drinking the Kool-Aid and just are bad people, making bad sales and lying to people because they don't give a fuck about what happens on the back end. And like Fremo said, he's going to walk in there and have to get browbeat for half an hour. He's going to go, you know what? I know what TV I want. I'm going to go to Amazon and have it delivered.
Yeah.
That's the way you're going, Corey. That's the way it's going. And to all the people that are still there, all my friends that are still there.
And that's probably, honestly, that's probably her strategy. Let's drive sales down in the store to the point where we're closing X number of stores, and that's my next dividend payout, is because we dropped out of 100 leases this year. So we'll use that money to make the dividend payment this time around.
All I can say to the people that I worked with, thank you very much. To the two leaderships, Ron and Alan, I can't, it's going to be a lifetime to repay you for what you did for me. To the shit people, the shit managers, that have their family working with them, or that literally have had their wife drive up to the front of the building to yell at them. Yeah, fuck you people. You people are literally going, and I don't care. I didn't say any names, but you know who they are, and I don't give a shit because you're bad humans. That's just simply what you do and say to people is not right at all, and the company implores that. They want you to do that. They can get the bad people out and the good people in. So you think. To all the agents and stuff that are out there, hold tight, man. It's just a stepping stone. Because trust me, you can get a job in IT and have less aggravation. When I left one time and I worked for a school department, or even when I left and worked for Santander Bank, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was like, holy shit, this is not the pressure that I had to deal with before. I'm not getting yelled at. I'm not getting called stupid. You know, you came to me and you're calling me stupid. I had one lady that sat there and told me that I've never had a password. Well, ma'am, since, 1999, when I started doing this, you've needed a password for your email address. I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
Yeah.
And the people that get these management positions that have no idea what you're doing, I implore you, put some time in your employees' shoes, because you really don't have any idea what's going on. And this is all for corporate America. The goal right now in corporate America is to make more money for investors and not give a shit about your employees at all in any way. And I've even had people say, well, your discount must be great. No, it's not. It used to be great. Shit, I could buy all sorts of stuff for a discounted price. That doesn't happen anymore because the margins are not there. She can't cut any more jobs. The margins aren't there to make any money, so you're not going to get any discounts. So, again, I had a good time working there. It was not all bad. But the upper management and shit is god awful, and that needs to change. Because under Hubert, you had people that cared. You had a job that you wanted to go to every day, that you weren't hassled every single day. I've seen some sales supervisors that will just make people cry. They literally made people cry. I know, because they came into the back of my precinct to sit there and calm down because they were so upset. But you don't care because the numbers look good on the metrics. And that's a shitty way to be. So kudos to my last store. You are phenomenal. All of you are just phenomenal people. There is one or two shitty salespeople, but for the most part, you were all great people that did honest, ethical work. The company doesn't care about your ethics, though, because there's other stores that are succeeding more than your store that don't have any ethic. And out of all the general managers in my micro market, I can't really say there's a couple. There's one that I don't like their management style, but all the rest of them are phenomenal managers that care. They care. They want you to do good. They have to work on their business. They're good people. But the company as a whole, they don't give a shit about you. And as soon as they get that in your mindset that they don't care about you, then you're gonna be better off, because it's just a job. If you want it to be a career, you're gonna have to drink some Kool-Aid, you're gonna have to eat some shit, and you're gonna have to do some unethical shit in this company. But if you're a good person, this is just a job, a stepping stone while you're in school or whatever it is, embrace it and have at it, because it's not super bad. It could be worse. But I'm done. I'm moving on to better things. My new company, I have an underground parking. They've already sent me an itinerary for my first day, directions on what I'm going to do. And it's substantially more money for basically the same thing I'm doing now, or I was. Yeah, and that's where it comes down to. It comes down from leadership down. And if leadership takes control and does what they need to do, then it's going to work out. But right now, Best Buy, I'm not going to sit there and say that Best Buy is going to turn around. Geek Squad will be defunct in a couple of years. I'm pretty confident. Some of the plans that I know that they're trying to do in micro markets, and it's no secret. I mean, you can read it on Reddit. They're trying different things, like having all the repairs go to one store in your micro market, and everybody else is just kind of standing there going, "What can I do for you today? I'm going to put it in a box and send it off to repair." But as a company, as Best Buy, I'm not going to sit here and say, like everybody else, like the place is going to fall apart without me, or it's going to be closed in 5 years. No. She's not stupid. Okay, she survived this long. It's going to become a very much an Amazon / warehouse pickup. That's what the company is going to turn around and be, because that's all they want to do. They want to get that bottom line, and by doing the marketplace and by using AI, they're going to need less and less people. That's her goal. Less
Yeah,
and
and
less people.
that's what I'm saying, and they'll need less and less storefronts because it literally will just be a place that you pick up. So now instead of there being 5 stores within a 50-mile radius or a 100-mile radius, there'll be 2.
Ironically, you say that on the CNBC video, and go look at it. Go look at it on the internet. A couple of days ago, she said they're testing smaller stores with smaller footprints. Because again, you're just going to pick up shit. You're going to order it and pick it up at the store. That's what they want. They don't want the overhead because she needs to make 1.9 million a year. And that's just her. Look at the other
Yeah.
C-suite that's doing it. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no care in the world about you or your family or your travel time or anything else. They just don't give a shit. They don't. And I've never seen it. We've said it on the show before, and now I can actually say it because I've left the company. I have never seen corporate or retail in this way in years, ever. I just, the way it's going is just brutally bad. You'll see it at any store you go to, from Kohl's to Walmart to either there's no sales associates at all, or you're just barraged constantly with credit cards or specialty cards, store cards, discounts, memberships.
Yeah.
But yet the service and the product isn't there. It's just not. All right. I've ranted enough. I got a lot of that off my chest. Hopefully I won't get sued. I don't think I will. But that's it for this week. Pence down, show's over.
So you can find more of this garbage at bgfgonline.com. You can also send us an email with your questions or suggestions at bgfgshow@gmail.com. Find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, Podcast, Castro, Castbox, Podchaser, and YouTube. Thank you for listening.